Alright, so this is my character. My discharge is burning. Because I think that I'm hilarious and I'm functionally like 10 years old. By the way, the cake emoji is very appropriate because today is my birthday. Woo! Oh my god, I know, right? Go figure. Totally my birthday. Yours was on the 21st birthday, buds. I think I got you beat by about 15 years though, man. I turned 37 today. But that's okay, I'm young at heart. Exactly 10, okay. Perfect, perfect. Decade older than you? Oh, you guys are really good at making me feel ancient. I think I feel all my aches and pains. Should you get me a cane for my birthday? Dude, you freaking should. I herniated a disc about 8 or 9 years ago, and it's kind of been pissing me off recently, so... Or at least I think I did. I never had it diagnosed, but it, like, you know, it felt exactly like what that's supposed to feel like, so pretty sure that's what happened. But, yep, I'm not getting any younger, folks. Not getting any younger. I know, just kick me in the balls. It's okay. It's okay, it's the internet. There's no repercussions for that. You know this great chiropractor? You fuck right off with your chiropractor. He doesn't need to x-ray people after car accidents. Just a quick adjustment. It'll fix you right up. You'll never feel your legs again. What do I think of med students who are very financially liberal, spend a lot on rent? Just say I'll pay it back later. I think that's a fine strategy, to be honest with you. But yeah, I think, and we sort of covered this in the finance talk, and fortunately Dr. Sheasel agreed with me on this. I feel like I sort of have a fringe view on this subject, but I feel like being able to enjoy your time off is way more important than keeping your debt load low, because you're not going to do that anyway, right? Even if you just pay tuition and you have no cost of living expenses, you're still going to be in the hole over $200,000 most likely for med school. So what's an extra, you know, 10 to 20 grand a year to like actually enjoy yourself when you have the opportunity to? I think that's well worth the investment, because ultimately that's probably another $200-300 a month, which is, you know, substantial for sure, but you know, I think that's worthwhile. I mean, you got to be able to let loose and not feel the financial pinch. Like, money stress is like one of the worst kinds of stress, right? And you don't need that in addition to your, you know, the stress from like doing a super rigorous program. And along similar lines, I do not at all recommend paying on your loans during residency, because you just don't make enough money to do that. Just forbear them and move along. And it sucks. It hurts real bad to have that interest capitalized. But hey, here's the news. It's capitalizing anyway, because you're not going to be able to afford your interest. So, yeah, I mean, just take that cash and enjoy it. You know, have a life, be a person. Doesn't that ruin your credit score? No, it does not, actually. Forbearance, as long as you forbear your loans prior to them, like, coming due, and you don't just be like, oh shit, I need to do that, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, you have to, like, emergency forbear them or something, then no, it doesn't. If you don't pay your loans, if you default on your loans, then that murders your credit score. Is your brain overloading right now? I didn't mean to do that. Time to go boom. Yeah, the MCAT will do that, man. The MCAT will do that. Hey, but don't worry, you have plenty of opportunity to take even harder and still more important tests in your life. Isn't that cool? Oh, Jesus, man. My computer does not care for this League mechanic very much. Which is really weird, because I was running it just fine on my laptop yesterday. Maybe some of the patches that they introduced a couple hotfixes, and maybe that screwed things up. Pre-studying for step 1. Good luck with that. Good luck with that. In terms of difficulty, how much more difficult is step 1 compared to the MCAT? Leagues worse. Way, way, way freaking worse. Because, like, I mean, at least the MCAT, an entire section of it is, like, logic-based, right? Pretty much. Aw, poop. Yeah, I mean, step 1 is literally, oh god, is literally the entire first 2 years of med school. And each semester of med school is roughly equivalent to, like, upper 20s to 30 hours of college. So you're sort of taking, like, what, like, 4 years of college all at once. 4 plus, 4 plus years of college all at once. The school gives you a dedicated period of time to study for it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, med schools are kind of, like, ruthless in a lot of ways, but they aren't stupid. Like, they know that you need to pass your boards, or else they look like crap, you know? So they have to give you time to do that stuff. And they do. You know, they give you adequate time to do everything. Residency, on the other hand, they just say, suck it up. Fuck you, take your board exam. Pass it or else. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And yes, you will be fine. You will definitely be fine on step 1. Everybody is. And shit, by the time you take it, it'll probably be straight up pass-fail, which I think is a terrible idea for a lot of reasons, but it's probably going to be that way. So you, like, passing is not all that hard. I mean, it's difficult, like, you still have to work for it, but doing well is what's really difficult. So, one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight was posed to me by John Doe in Discord. And I actually had not heard about it until he mentioned it, and it seems like a pretty huge issue, actually. What I'm talking about is, apparently, there have been multiple companies, like, taking medical gloves, like medical waste, essentially, and, like, just kind of washing it off and reselling the gloves. And, like, a lot of these gloves are, like, blood-stained and have, you know, like, crap still stuck on them or stained to them. And they're, like, reselling them as new. And that's when you know that shit has really gotten bad in terms of supply chains, where you actually, like, there's a market for somebody to take medical waste and just, like, wash it off in a sink and rebox it. Like, dude, what is going on? But when I first heard that, I was, like, super concerned, because I work in a kind of, you know, almost rural hospital, like a medium-ish sized place that I would say if there's anywhere that's likely to sort of bend to supply pressures, that it would be us. Anyway, a lot of the places getting these are, like, you know, food service and, like, janitorial outfits. I mean, like, it doesn't sound like the healthcare industry has really gotten any of them, which is not surprising because basically you get everything directly from medical suppliers. Like, how could it possibly be worth it to a company to have somebody wash gloves and put them back in a box? How do you make money off of that? I don't know if that's going to be, like, make it to grocery stores and stuff, though, so if that's, like, you know, maybe there have been some issues of public consumption. Because one of the articles I read said that there have been 200 million gloves shipped that way, or reprocessed that way. I mean, that's insane. That's a lot of freaking gloves, dude. Like, I have no idea how much, you know, a typical hospital uses in, like, a year, say, but... You think you understood him when he spoke Thai? Was he selling you used gloves? You should not buy those, by the way. And also, that woman is a dude. Sorry to ruin your evening. As long as they're clean and sterile. Well, I think the clean and sterile part is sort of where we're getting hung up here. As far as parenting, how am I going to go about teaching him about religions? I'm not sure. That's a good question. We, my wife and I kind of kick that around pretty often. You know, right now I'm pretty content to just, like, leave it to his school to teach him, you know, basic Christianity kind of stuff, because it's pretty like. I think it's a little bit more intense on the religious side, the school, that is, since I went there. Like, I recall it being very light. Like, they had, we would have, like, a chapel, which was, like, a 15-minute, you know, like, reading, and you'd sing a couple songs and stuff in the morning. And it was mostly, like, a, you know, be nice to everybody, like a morality teaching kind of thing. But now it seems like maybe it's a little heavier on the actual, like, Christianity deal. But parenting is so hard. It is fucking hard. Grandparents didn't give her shit for dating an Italian, but did for another one dating a Puerto Rican. Nice. But yeah, I'm not sure how we're gonna address that, because he's like I gotta be honest, like, his school is just, like, straight up white. You know, there's some, like, Indian kids in there, Indians and Asians, but, like, it's probably like 90+% white. And so the diversity is very minimal. And I'm not sure how to make him not a spoiled, entitled white kid, to be quite frank. 8 of 200 people in your school were your RM? Yeah, I believe that. That was the same thing with my high school. I went to a very wealthy high school. I was the scholarship kid. One of them, at least. There were a lot. So, yeah, I don't know. That's in the works. TBD, man. TBD. We'll see how it goes. Do I ever worry about the lack of diversity? Yeah, I do. That's kind of what I'm talking about. I don't think it's like... So, Kansas City's public schools are just dog shit, basically. Like, they're fucking terrible. And, I mean, they're not accredited. So... that's not really an option. And the public schools that are good are just, like, way out south in the wealthy suburbs. And, like, those are all white, too. So it's not really, like, you know, moving to get into a better public school would make a difference. So, yeah, again, we're kind of playing that by ear. And I'm not entirely sure what to do about it. And it's really hard that... Like, all of the cool things that kids want, I also want, right? Like, I want cool computer stuff. I want video games. I want, you know, to take, like, trips and eat good food and have toys and shit. Like, so, you know, whenever he wants a PlayStation 19, I'm probably gonna be like, hell yeah, let's get a PlayStation 19. That sounds amazing. So, I don't know. That's gonna be hard. Parenting at its finest, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, he's gonna be a spoiled rich kid. I don't know how to get around that. But yeah, I'm not sure how to teach him, like, financial responsibility and, like, how to relate to people. I'm gonna spoil my kid, dude. I totally spoil my kid, like, super hardcore. No, not even not even a question. He is super spoiled. But he's young enough that he doesn't know that. And also, kind of the weird thing is, like, by comparison with the kids that he goes to school with, he's, like, you know, we're average, I would say. If not, maybe even, like, below average, financially speaking. Sounds like New York City type of thinking, 7 figures equals rich. Yeah, I mean... When I'm ready and not... Pretty much. Pretty much. But I mean, in New York City, I don't even know if that applies, right? Like in Manhattan, the average house price, last I checked, was like $1.5 million. Or house. Personal residence place was $1.5 million. Went to a Bruzy brunch in NYC, it was wild. Yeah, it's so expensive, right? It's crazy expensive. I visited one of my good friends from college, she lives there. And, like, I took a board review course up there, and, like, the board review course sucked, so I basically just ended up hanging out with her for, like, 3 days. Yeah, it was. It was nice. It was tons of fun. I hadn't seen her for a while. Like, hung out with her and her now husband, I guess, at the time, boyfriend. But they're like, he's a super cool dude, and she was just kind of, like, showing me around some, like, local, you know, good places to eat and stuff. So... yeah, it was fun. But damn, dude, paying like, we went and got a, pastrami on rye, because I was like, I have to have like a badass pastrami on rye while I'm here in New York. And she took me to a place that is not Katz's, but it was like a $25 sandwich. I was like, what the fuck is this, man? How do you people survive?
Hello.
So one thing that the pandemic has definitely taught me is that the rich get richer, and I'm trying to capitalize on that. I'm figuring out that I'm like just on the leading edge of being able to like take advantage of some of those things, which is pretty cool. Or it will be cool once I actually take advantage of them, I guess.
Fate will find you.
I mean, like, being able to refinance your house pretty much at will, just to, like, pay less money. You know, having... So, here's real estate investments, that's exactly where we're going. So, here's something that you guys should know, and be aware of. When you are a doctor, people will throw money at you. Hardcore throw money at you. And then I could do massive giveaways. Yeah, I'll give away my apartment buildings. Fuck yeah, man. It'd be like Oprah style. You get an apartment, and you get an apartment. You get a multiplex. You get an apartment. I like this. I like this future. Ride the wave of perks. I'm trying to, man. That's what I'm saying, is like, once you're kind of like above, you know, a certain level, like, life is pretty good. So yeah, y'all are gonna be in a good place here in a little while. Just make sure you do as I say, not as I do, and take advantage of it early on. That's like the biggest thing I could recommend you do. Famous words, exactly. That's like my life in a nutshell, man. So don't buy Thai gloves. Don't buy Thai women. Don't squander your opportunities. What am I gonna be for Halloween? I'm going to be a pumpkin. What are you gonna be for Halloween? What's everybody in chat gonna be for Halloween? What are you gonna be for Halloween, guys? But yeah, my kid just like randomly said he wanted to be a pumpkin, which it came totally out of freaking nowhere, because he's like super hardcore into trains and like astronauts and stuff right now, and we're like, what do you want? And he's like, I want to be a pumpkin. Okay, pumpkin it is. It's like, which is great, because that's like a super easy costume. It's really easy to come up with. And then he was like, we should be a family of pumpkins. Alright. Also easy. Pressing the easy button once again. Dude, sometimes kids are like ludicrously cute. Like, seriously. I have I am that guy to some extent, and I share like some of the funny shit that my kid says, like on Facebook. And his most recent one was like, I can't remember why he asked this, but you know, he's sort of at that age where he's kind of like putting things together a little bit, and like sort of making successive approximations towards the sex talk. And like, he understands that like babies are in mom's tummies and stuff. And he goes, Mom, when I was in your belly, could you taste me? and she was like, like, tried to, you know, sort of like explain this away. And like, yeah, exactly. And she was like, and you know, kind of like stammered out an explanation. And he was like, you know, he's a sharp kid, and he's smart enough to like understand that she's just like totally bullshitting him. And he goes, never mind, I'll just YouTube it. And we were like, don't do that. please don't type that into Google, because nothing good will come of this. And he's always been freaking loud too. Like, when he was a baby, he would he'd just like be asleep in his little like, you know, rocker crib thing. I forgot what, bassinet, that's the name. So he's in his room in his bassinet, and he'd just be going like in his sleep all night. And we're like, what the fuck is our like possessed demon baby doing in there? Jesus Christ. This is when he's like you know, a week old, and he did that for months. Yeah, so it occurs to me that a lot of you aren't real familiar with you know, baby development stages. So, you know, they can't actually like emotionally interact with you for a couple months, oddly enough. And then when they like start smiling and stuff, Jesus, I need to stop doing that. Like, when they start like smiling, they can start like laughing and cooing and stuff. But way before that, just in the middle of the night, he had this like crazy ass, like insane clown laugh where we just, like, my wife and I were asleep and we just hear like come out of his room. We're like, oh my god. What the fuck? The fuck was that, man? Like, was that our baby? Did he do that? Kids are weird, dude. Future Joker? Yeah. Why so sad?
Amana.
Do I make people call me Dr. Milkman? Absolutely. It's actually Dr. Milkman, sir. But, you know, I'll let him get away with just Dr. Milkman. It's fine. How about them Chiefs? God damn it. You had to bring that up, didn't you? Yeah, not so good. Not so good. That was a pretty piss poor showing. I haven't heard anything about Mahomes' injury. I don't know if he had a concussion or hopefully he didn't have like a neck injury or something. That would be super bad. Do I make friends? Yes, of course I make friends and family call me a doctor. Duh. Yeah, no, I definitely do not make anybody call me doctor at all. A lot of people, most people do. Most people call me by my, just like straight up by my last name though. I'm pretty hard to take seriously, so. Except when shit hits the fan. You know, I like to think I'm sort of like a walk softly but carry a big stick guy. Like, you know, everything's cool as long as everybody knows their role, right? Like, when shit hits the fan and somebody's dying, like, you listen to me and, you know, don't ask questions, just do what I say. What about strangers? Especially strangers. You know, like servers in restaurants and stuff. I'm like, excuse me, you will address me as Dr. Milkman, sir. Your tip depends on it. I get my food spit in a lot. Alright, let's see. What else was I going to talk about? Oh, anesthesia horror stories. Okay, that's right. Fortunately, there are really... That doesn't really exist. The vast majority of people who say that they've, like, I woke up doing this surgery. Like, yeah, you were never asleep. Most people, like, they say they, like, woke up during a colonoscopy or, you know, somebody taking, like, a cyst out or something. It's like, yeah, you have a memory flashback from a procedure that you were not, like, fully anesthetized for. So, yeah, true recall during anesthesia is exceptionally rare. Like, 1 in hundreds of thousands. Like, so rare that it, like, basically doesn't happen. Usually, if it does happen, it's because of some error that was made. Like, usually when you keep people asleep, they breathe a gas, like an anesthetic gas, through their whatever type of breathing tube or airway device they have in place. And that it's possible for that to run out and be unnoticed. So, if they're paralyzed, which most people often are for a lot of surgeries, you might not notice that, and that's like that and bypass are very common ways for that to happen. Because like during bypass, they basically infuse that gas directly into your bloodstream instead of through your lungs. And sometimes that can run out too. And you have like volume of distribution changes and stuff, so the drugs, like effective dose changes, and all sorts of things. So those are common times for that to happen. Read a story about the gas forgetting to be turned on. Yeah, same deal, right? So somebody got paralyzed and like thoughts on preventing anesthesia awareness. Yeah, give people drugs that make them forget. I mean, that's really what you do. But yeah, awareness is basically like the short story is like something bad happens with the volatile agent that, you know, whether it runs out or somebody forgets to turn it on or something like that, and there's paralysis. But again, that is like really crazy rare. Very, very rare. It requires a almost unprecedented level of like, nonchalance by the anesthesia provider. Because that's, like, you do that every single time. You turn that stuff on and you watch it like a hawk, because all of the monitors will show you how much gas your patient is breathing in and breathing out. And so, obviously, if it's reading triple zeros, that's a huge fucking problem. Or if you see it, like, decreasing rapidly, you know, like, you fix it. You fix that really fast. One way that you can really help with, like, especially that upfront time, which, so, sometimes you can have difficulty, like, getting someone's airway, right? And if you do, it's possible that their propofol is kind of, like, wearing off. And therefore their awareness is returning. So one way to combat that is to just give them Versed, and that's pretty, which is midazolam. It's a benzo, kind of like Valium. That's like really powerful and short acting. So you can give them that, and that's like a really powerful amnestic. So even if they do like sort of technically start waking up, they're not going to remember it. CRNA forgot. Bummer. Let's have a look at this, shall we? Man says he was awake, but unable to speak or move during surgery. Yep, that sucks, bro. Filing a lawsuit against Wash U, huh? So we're gonna talk about something real cool here. It's called the cerebral auto-regulation curve. I'm gonna get to a place where enemies aren't gonna shank me. Oh no! Well, thanks, game, for making that happen. Wow, bummer. Anyway, cerebral auto-regulation. Let's do it. So, what this means. So here's your mean arterial pressure, your MAP. So your MAP is twice your diastolic plus your systolic divided by 3. Back to this. So this is how your brain gets. So like a normal MAP is like 80-ish, right? So you're in here somewhere. As this increases, your brain is able to, like, vasodilate, basically. All the vessels in your brain dilate. So when your systemic pressure is up here, everything's still cool, right? But once you get to a certain point, that compensatory mechanism drops off, and your brain starts, the pressure in your brain starts increasing, and that's a problem. So you can get, like, swelling in your brain, you can have a stroke, and in extreme circumstances, you can have something called tonsillar herniation, which is basically where your brain swells so much that it, like, squishes out of your skull and crushes your brainstem, and you die. So the same thing is true on the bottom end of the curve here. So, like, your brain can compensate just fine when your systemic blood pressure is dropping, but then after a certain point, it can't compensate for that anymore. And you start, like, at this point here, like, once your cerebral blood flow drops below this point here, you start hypoperfusing your brain, and then you can also have a stroke, and, you know, the same problems, essentially. Too low, and you can have a stroke, absolutely. Yep, same deal. So this would be an ischemic stroke, and this would be a hemorrhagic stroke, most likely. Got your first pre-calc test tomorrow. That sounds fun. I mean, to me, it kind of is. I really like math. But I understand that most people do not. Yeah, for real, I do love math. I totally love math. I was a physics major. I actually just mentioned this in my Discord today. I was actually an astrophysics major, in addition to biology and chemistry, because I'm a huge nerd. But most of you figured that out by now, I hope. I'm not exactly hiding it. Keep flexing. Well, I mean, it hasn't done me a lot of good, right? I haven't used any of that in 10 years, over 10 years, probably 13 years. Just a huge nerd, man, who likes stars and planets and medicine and, you know, poking holes in people. That's how I roll. Do I like supermassive black bodies? Only when they're warm. They're finding, like, more and more giant black holes, which is super cool. There's some, like, I think the biggest one that they found is, like, literally the size of the solar system. And it's, like, trillions of solar masses. It's like when you get to a point, you measure stars in solar masses. That's, like, the unit of measurement. 66 billion solar masses. Jesus Christ. Shit. I was talking with a couple of my partners the other day about like what we did with nerve blocks. So you can do this nerve block, and basically what it is you just like find nerves on an ultrasound, and you put a bunch of numbing medicine next to them. That's it. These are the cervical nerves C5, 6, and 7. So basically you're just going right in there to inject local anesthetic and numbing people's arms. So what we did in residency was put catheters there. So you like just leave a little tube, like use a bigger needle and run a tube through it and just put it right here. So, and you send them home with this thing called an on-cue ball, which is like basically an elastic ball, which just like squeezes numbing medicine in at a continuous rate. And like we would do that for, you know, there'd be 15 to 20 people at home with these on-cue balls, and we had to call them every day to like make sure it was working and, you know, they're happy and all of this like customer satisfaction bullshit. And, you know, basically the guy who was in charge of our regional department was like, yeah, we can do that, that's no problem. Like, well, shit, dude, you're not the one making the 10-minute phone calls to each patient. Do I put in Foley's? Hell, no. No way, dude.
I will see you again.
Not interested in that. You'll do it in med school. Like, it's one of those things that it's like a good idea to like have done before, just to, you know, say you've done it. But yeah, I have zero interest in that. But yeah, basically like academic medicine is full of residents just like doing a bunch of shit work that nobody else wants to do. Like I have not put a nerve catheter in since residency because I don't want to do that. I don't want to freaking call people every day and ask them how their nerve catheter is. Like, you get your 12 to 18 hour block and you go home. Don't bother me. Just want to put people to sleep, absolutely. I'll take really good care of you, I promise. It's nothing personal, but I do not want to have a 10-minute phone call with you about whether or not your nerve block is working. Is like, really, what do you do about it if it's not? Like, they wanted us to, like, have people come back into the emergency room to, like, troubleshoot their tubing and stuff. Because, like, people did all sorts of unbelievably stupid shit. They turned their ball off, like, you can occlude it and stuff. And they'd, you know, they would call us at, like, all hours of the night and be like, this thing's working wrong. My arm's numb. I'm like, yeah, your arm's supposed to be numb. That's the whole point. That is the whole reason that you have this catheter in you, is your arm is supposed to be numb for the duration of this ball squeezing local anesthetic into it. God damn it. Any tips on putting on lidocaine? Yeah, put it where it hurts. That's pretty much it. But there's, oh shit, what is that? Tainted mythic orb? What the flying fuck? That must be one of the new League things.
When I'm ready,
Nice. Alright. What do you do, Tainted Mythic Orb? Unpredictably either upgrades a corrupted item to a unique rarity or destroys it. Okay. That's pretty cool. I wonder what the percentages of each of those things is. Could I perform a surgery if needed? Not well. I have done hernia repairs. Was it 2? I think I've done 2 hernia repairs as the surgeon. And I also did a like a vaginal, they call it an anterior posterior repair. It's basically like a prolapse fix kind of thing. I did that under very close inspection. Those are the only surgeries I've actually ever done. And I have not done those since med school, so nobody wants me doing their C-section, I guarantee you that. I could probably, like, get in and like, get a baby out or something, but the risk of me doing that probably outweighs the benefit. Milkman surgeon arc? Hell no. No, I'm not going to be doing any of that anytime soon. That said, technically I am licensed to do it. Because that's the weird thing about medical licenses, is it's like, it's not specific to your specialty. Like, the hospital probably won't grant you privileges to do, you know, anything other than your specialty, but technically you are recognized as somebody who can do that, which is pretty weird. Prescribing information. There we go. Alright, this is what I'm looking for. This is the insert that comes in a box of Botox. So it literally shows you where to inject Botox, right? So this is what you do for what people call their 11s or their frown lines. So it's like the lines that kind of come up right there. Can you guys see this, by the way? Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. Zoom a little bit. So, you know, people who have frown lines like right there, this gets your procerus muscle is right here, and your corrugator muscle goes from there to there. So basically you're getting the ends of your corrugators, right in the middle of the corrugator, and the procerus, and then your temporalis muscles, or I mean your frontalis muscle goes here, kind of like up this way and up there. And so you do this, it'll show it down here. You do injections there, there, there. So you get kind of like both sides of the like middle part of the frontalis, and then the middle of it on the top, and same thing on the other side. So you do that, and these are for crow's feet. This is all around your orbicularis oculi. And this, so what these do, so your frontalis is like, raises your eyebrows. So all of these injections, these top 5 here, will lower your brow, right? So your orbicularis oculi is a constricting muscle around your eye. So if you loosen that up, like you inject out here, your brow's gonna raise. How precise do you need to be when administering Botox? I mean, fairly. Pretty precise. You can, so I'm a really good example. I don't know if you can see this, but, so, I'm gonna make sure that I can see what so, if I go like this, you can sort of see, like, right there-ish, like that's where the end of the muscle is, right? So you inject right there, like in the middle, and then right here, and do the same on the other side. And if I raise my brows, so I actually have an injury there. You can probably see that. I busted my head open when I was like 7. But basically you look for the ends of the wrinkles, and you inject there, and then you inject up top. I don't think I have any wrinkles up top, but like where the top wrinkles are, that's where the top of the frontalis muscle is, and you inject there. It's shooting fish in a barrel, dude. You do not need a $3,000 class to do that. Like it literally, this is literally the insert in the package. Like when you buy a box of Botox, this is literally what comes in it. What was for dinner? It was my birthday dinner. I had roast beef. I wanted my wife to make a pot roast, and it was freaking fantastic. It was really, really good. Had that and pumpkin pie as a birthday cake. Cake substitute, I guess. Because pumpkin pie is fucking awesome. Still in touch with college roommates? Hell yeah, man. Not like good touch, but you know, I mean, I'll talk to them every like, you know, couple months or something, or at least like drop them a message and just like see how they're doing. One of them's actually starting a brewery in Carolina, which is super cool. I didn't even know he was like into that stuff, but like he just popped up on Facebook, and I was like, well, shit, man, like, give me your information, I'll buy stuff from you if you're willing to ship to Kansas City. Yeah, I had a very good roommate experience in college. And like after, so I was in the dorms my first 2 years, second year by choice because I found super cool guys to be with. My third and fourth years I was in, well, third, fourth years and ninth semester, I was in a house with one of the guys that I was suite mates with and his brother, which was also very cool. My biggest friends are still from high school. Yeah, and like grade school and stuff. I guess high school, generally speaking. Because most of my friends from high school are still in Kansas City. A lot of people who like grew up here stayed here. Or have like migrated back. Actually, it's a really easy, nice place to live. But again, nobody knows it because it's flyover country. And nobody gives a fuck about the Midwest. And that's fine. Keep my property values low, guys. Thanks for playing. What dating apps did they have back in my day? Oh my god. That is such a painful question to have to answer. I met her on OkCupid, and like, let's see, there was like Plenty of Fish, I think, existed, and what's the eHarmony. I think eHarmony existed too, but I was not about to pay for a dating site. I wasn't that desperate. I was desperate, but I wasn't that desperate. And I mean, now it's just like the way it's done, right? That's just like the smart thing to do. But back then I was like, oh, online dating, oh my god. Farmers only? Oh, yeah. Yeah, baby. You don't have to be lonely. Alright. Any Chiefs players, kids? Ooh, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't... The only sports kid I recall going to school with was John Mayberry's son. He was a Royals player back in the day. And his name was also John Mayberry. Super nice guy, by the way, and also, like, ludicrously talented. Like, he, the one awesome story about John Mayberry, the son, is, so there's this driving range, like, kind of by where he went to high school. He went to this all-guys school, called Brockhurst. And, pretty close to that, there's a driving range where their golf team practices. And across, it's on the corner of two major streets. Michael Crichton went to your high school? Nice. But yeah, so this golf range is, like, on the corner of these two major streets, right? So, like, 4-lane roads, both sides. So the street itself, you know, is probably 100 feet across. And then across that street is a Burger King. With, like, pretty much every time, he would hit that Burger King with his drive. So he'd, like, hit the golf ball out of the driving range across this giant-ass street and hit the Burger King. They'd sit out there and just watch him do it. Good times. Alright, well, I tell you what, I had a fair amount of Irish coffee this morning, and I think it's kind of, the fact that that is not in my body anymore is sort of catching up to me. So, I am gonna go to bed and call it quits on a fucking fantastic birthday. So thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate it. For anybody who does not know, I am MilkmanAl. I do this weird sort of medical gaming shit all the time. Serial killer, thanks, man. Thai food cook show next time, of course. You're welcome for the stream. Thank you for coming out. Yeah, I will be back Wednesday. Or no, I will not be back Wednesday because I'm on call. Maybe I'll be back Tuesday. But in any event, I will see you guys soon. Check YouTube for super cool stuff coming out. And have a fantastic Sunday night. Peace out.